So this lesson is on graphing systems of linear inequalities in two variables. So two variables, that means x and y. So we're talking about graphs, and linear, that means lines. So we're talking about a system, that means two or more. So we're going to be looking at inequalities with lines, and the solution to an inequality of a line is going to be a half of a plane, a shaded region. Okay, so first we'll talk about linear inequalities with two variables, not a system, but just an inequality. So here's a couple of examples of linear inequalities. 4x plus 2y greater than 12, and y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 3. See, both of those have inequality symbols. Whenever you have the greater than or less than symbol, that's an inequality. Okay. So here's our procedure. Again, we're going to get into systems in just a little bit, but first we'll talk about just a linear inequality. So first thing is, and keep in mind there's different methods, so this is just one method. The first step is to solve the inequality for y. Okay, if there's not a y, we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first step is to get y by itself. Okay, if it's a less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, then you're going to draw a solid line. So if it's got that line underneath the inequality, it's solid. And if it's less than or greater than, a dashed line. So equals, solid, no equals, dashed. Okay, if it's y greater than or equal to, we're going to shade above the line. And if it's less than or equal to, shade below the line. So greater than above, less than below. Okay, and then we're going to graph the line. Remember, it's going to be solid or dashed depending on the equals or no equals. But we need some points on the line. And you can use any method. You can make a table and pick points. You can use the slope and the y-intercept. It's totally up to you. So we need to get points to draw the line. Any method you want to use is fine. Okay, here's our first step. First example, y greater than 2x. Okay, so first question, is it solid or dashed? Okay, there's no equals, so it will be dashed. When it's got an equal symbol, the line underneath it is solid. Okay, second question, is it above or below? So it's y greater than, so that's going to be, right, above. So now we know it's going to be a dashed line, and we're going to shade above the line. Next step is get some points. Change it to an equals. Again, you can use any method you want. You can use the slope and the y-intercept. Our slope is 2, and our y-intercept is 0. So using the slope, that's up 2, right 1. I'm going to make a table. There's no fraction, so I'm going to pick 0, 1, and 2, and then plug in each of those numbers. So if you plug in 0, 2 times 0 is 0. And if you plug in 1, 2 times 1 is 2. So just work it out. So those are our values, 0, 2, and 4. Plot our points now. So go ahead and plot the points. So there's the 3 points, 0, 0, 1, 2, and 2, 4. And now draw a line through the points. Don't forget to make it dashed. And now we want to shade everything above the line. So just take your pencil and shade above the line, or maybe use a highlighter, crayon, something like that. So there's our shaded region above the line. Okay, here's our next problem. Y greater than negative 2/3 x plus 2. Okay, same thing, solid or dashed. Again, there's no equals, so this is another dashed line. Above or below? Right, above. Next thing is change it to an equals. And then we need to pick some points. Or you could use a slope in the y-intercept. If you start with the y-intercept, that'll be at y equals 2. And then you're going to use a slope, which is negative 2/3. That'll be down 2, right 3. Down 2, right 3. Or if you want to pick points, then I would pick 0, 3, and 6. Numbers that the denominator will go into. Just to make the math easier. Okay, plug in each of those numbers. Work it out. And you should get 2, 0, and negative 2. All right, plot the points. Draw your line through those points. Make sure it's dashed. And then again, we're going to shade above the line. So shade above the line. Okay, let's go to the next problem. Okay, 3x minus 4y greater than or equal to 8. This one's a little bit different, right? It doesn't have the y by itself on the left-hand side. So we're going to get a y by itself on the left-hand side. What's our first step to get the y by itself? Right. Subtract the 3x. Minus 3x on the left, minus 3x on the right. So negative 4y greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 8. Next step. Again, we're trying to get y by itself, so we should divide both sides by negative 4. So divide each term by negative 4. Don't forget, whenever you divide by a negative, you've got to flip the inequality symbol around. So that'll give us y is less than or equal to 3/4 x minus 2. The two negatives on the 3 and the 4, that makes a positive, so that's a positive 3/4. You can either use the slope in the y-intercept or make a table and pick points. Your choice. Okay, solid or dashed. This one's got the equals, right? So it'll be solid. Above or below? Right. Less than, below. Let's change it to an equals to pick points. Again, you could use the slope and the y-intercept, or you can make a table and pick points. I'm going to make a table. And the numbers that I'm going to choose, well, 0 is always the number you want to choose. Whatever the denominator is, and then double that denominator. So 0, 4, and 8. Use some paper to work it out, or use your calculator if you can. So you should get negative 2, 1, and 4. Okay, plot your points. Again, draw your line through the points. Make sure it's solid this time. And then we're going to shade below the line. And we're all done. Okay, here's our next problem. Y is less than -3. All right, we already have y by itself. So our first question is, solid or dashed? Right, dashed. Above or below? It's y less than, so below. And then we need to draw the line. What kind of line is y equals -3? Right, it's a horizontal line. So you go to -3 on the y-axis and then draw your horizontal line. Don't forget to make it dashed. And then shade below. The last problem was a horizontal line. How about when we just have an x? Okay, so we need a couple notes here. Here's our note. If it's only an x, if there's no y, it's going to be a vertical line, right? Anytime it's x equals a number, it's a vertical line. So if it's greater than or equal to, shade to the right. If it's less than or equal to, shade to the left. That makes sense. Greater than to the right, less than to the left. Okay, solid or dashed. It's got the equal. Right, solid. So same rules. So this time we're not going to say above or below. We're going to say left or right. X less than, left. And okay, now our line, x equals -4. You go to -4 on the x-axis and then draw a vertical line. And this one will be solid. And then shade to the left. But we don't need to pick any points. It's either to the left or to the right. And when you draw a vertical or horizontal line, you don't need points. Okay, so now we're going to talk about a system of inequalities. That means there's two of them. So the solution to a system of inequalities is the intersection of the shaded areas. It is the area which is shaded twice. We will darken that area with another color to show the intersection more clearly. So it's the area that's shaded twice. That's our answer. You could do kind of a crisscross pattern, kind of with your pencil. Make marks in one direction and then another one in another direction. And so the area that's crisscrossed will be your answer. Or you can use different colors. You could shade one of them yellow and the other one red, and then your answer would be orange, right? All right, you get the idea. Okay, so here's our first one. We're going to graph the top one first. X plus y greater than 5. So get the y by itself, move the x over, and that'll give you y is greater than -x plus 5. So we're graphing each of them separately, but on the same grid, okay? Same steps. Is that one going to be solid or dashed? Right, it's going to be dashed. And are you going to shade above or below? Right, above. So dashed and above. Let's change it to an equals, get some points. There's no fraction, so we could pick 0, 1, and 2. Plug in 0, 1, and 2, and we should get 5, 4, and 3. Plot your points and graph the line. And then we're going to shade above the line. Okay, so there's above the line. I kind of made some lines showing that that's a shaded region. All right, let's tackle the next one. 2x minus y less than or equal to 4. Subtract the 2x on both sides. And then we still got that negative 1 in front of the y, so divide each of them by negative 1. Oh, and don't forget, when you divide by a negative, you have to flip it. Okay, now we can change it to an equals to pick points. We're going to do it solid, a solid line, and we're going to shade above it. We can pick 0, 1, and 2 this time. So negative 4, negative 2, and 0. Plot your points. And when you draw the line, it'll be a solid line. And then we're going to shade above that line. So there's above. So now do you see the region that was shaded twice? Yeah, it's that upper portion, right? Kind of got that crisscross pattern going. So kind of darken that in real good, or go back and erase the other areas. You just want to make sure that you show whoever your teacher is what the answer is clearly. So it's that darkened region right there. Okay, so we graphed inequalities. Whenever we have a system, it's going to be the area that's shaded twice. If we have 3 inequalities, it's going to be the answer that's shaded, or I should say the area that's shaded 3 times. If it's 4 inequalities, it's got to be the area that's shaded all 4 times. Okay, look at kind of tricky, but that's the idea. All right, one last problem here. X is less than or equal to negative 2, and y is less than negative 1. Okay, so x less than or equal to negative 2. Solid line. Which way do we shade it? Right, to the left. So you graph x equals negative 2 and then shade to the left. I don't really put any notes there. And the next one, y less than negative 1. So we're going to shade below, and it's going to be a dashed line. So go to y equals negative 1. That's a horizontal line. Draw a dashed line, and then shade below the line. So where is the area that was shaded by both of them? Yeah, it's that lower left-hand corner. So kind of darken that in real good, and that's our answer. Okay, that's it for this video. I'll see you here for the next one.